What's up, squad? It's your Squid. For anyone watching this in Australia, this will be especially important to you, this sponsor. This beard grooming sponsor, Milkman Grooming. They're an Australian company, so, you know, the shipping won't be as excessive as it is for my American counterparts. But yeah, check them out. They're awesome. I believe in them. I was a consumer of theirs before I was an affiliate of theirs. And yeah, if you use code SQUID, you'll get 15% off. So check it out. And even if you are American, it takes a while for it to get here. It takes like 2 or 3 weeks, but it is well and truly worth it. Let me believe you. Let me believe you. Let me convince you, and you can believe me. Milkman Grooming is worth it. But yeah, this video is another one for my non-NFL football playlist. And if it gets enough views, I'll probably consider creating an AFL playlist, actually. Because a couple of my AFL videos have got a you know, reasonable amount of clicks and a reasonable amount of views. And it seems that there's a certain amount of my American followers who would like to see more Aussie rules and learn about the sport. So yeah, I figured I would show you guys Mason Cox. He's not the only American ever to play the game, but he's the most successful American to play the game, and he's basically the only American to play it consistently. But I'll get into that once we get into this, so let's get into it. Okay guys, thanks for tuning back in. If there are any rules that you want to know about or anything like that, I reply to pretty much every comment ever on my channel at all. Unless you're being a dick or unless it's been said 28 times or something. But like, I read every comment and I interact. I think that's, I'd like to think that's common amongst YouTubers, but apparently it's a rare quality. So yeah, let me know if you want to know anything in particular and I'll let you know in the comments, or I'll create a whole new video if it seems to be a consistent question, you know what I mean? But Mason Cox, the first ever American to play the game was a guy named, I think it was Jason Holmes. He played for St Kilda, who are the Saints, and he played 2 or 3 games, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he wasn't good, because to play in the AFL, like it's a very prestige league. It's a high quality. You need to be of a certain caliber to even play 1 game, you know. And he played a couple, so he did all right and he did well and he was reasonable. And I'll never be one of those people that jumps on the bandwagon being like, oh, that guy sucked, you know, like he was a gimmick or anything like that. Because I don't think, you know, even if he was a gimmick, it was a gimmick that they tried, you know, and he got to play some AFL games for it, so it was cool. I'm a big believer in the International Pathway Program in the AFL, right? It's the IPP. One of my favourite players growing up was a player named Ty Kennelly, because as I've told you about in previous videos, I am right now a Giants fan, but the Giants didn't exist when I was growing up. They were an expansion team, and so I was a Sydney Swans fan. And so he wasn't the first ever Irish-born player, but because of Gaelic football, which is very similar to Aussie rules, just with a different shaped ball and a different shaped ground, and like it's different, but it is somewhat similar in the way the game's played and the positions and all that sort of stuff, right? Anyway, his dad was a Gaelic champion. He wanted to come to Australia and earn some bread for his football capacity, and he was a good player, and he was the first ever Irish player to win a premiership, right? There was an Irish player before him named Jim Steins who sort of blazed the trail for international players back when, and he won a Brownlow, which is the equivalent of, like, it's a best and fairest across the whole league for the whole year, the best player in the league for the year equivalent, like, I don't know what the award for that is in the NFL, but yeah, anyway, because of Ty Kennelly, I liked the international player program. Jason Holmes played for St Kilda. He was, you know, he didn't go on to make any strides in the game, but he did still get a couple of games in. Mike Pike played for the Sydney Swans, and he was Canadian, and he played, you know, Mason Cox, the American, this bloke, would be very, very happy if he had a career that emulated Mike Pike's, you know what I mean? So, but he was Canadian, not American. Mason Cox, second American ever to play the game, and he's definitely the best American to play, but he's slowly becoming one of the best in his position in the game at the moment, regardless of nationality, you know? So I'll shut up. I'll probably talk for too long as it is, but we'll just get into the highlights, shall we? So the first 2 videos, sorry, I should mention the first 2 videos. One is his 2018 highlights, and one is the story, I think. Here, I'll just have a look, shall I? Mason Cox, 2018, bigger than Texas, and highlights Mason Cox from his football team for last year, or the last season. So let's do this, shall we? He copped a lot of heat from some commentators just because they didn't think he was going to be good, you know, because how could someone who's never heard of the game before come here and be elite within a year or 2, you know what I mean? And the answer is because he was an elite athlete to begin with. He played NCAA basketball. He's a skillful dude, and because he's fucking huge, you know, he's built for the game almost.
Now more with the long ball.
Bang! Look at that, like, just get, you know, I can't push you with my hands. A push in the back is against the rules, but there is nothing against the rules if you just knee the fucking dude out of your way. As long as you don't use the palms of your hands, you can just shove anyone out of the fucking way. It's fine. And that's because people in the 80s and 90s, some of the commentators in particular, Brian Taylor, one of the ones that really doesn't like Mason Cox, it's because Mason Cox, brand new to the game, is suddenly, you know, a really good player in the position that Brian Taylor used to play and was a really successful player at. And so I feel like he feels like it's a dig against him that like anyone can do it. But Mason Cox isn't anyone, you know what I mean? And people who make that false sort of equivalency in their mind of, oh, just because Mason Cox had never heard of the game and then came here and became elite at it, like he went to the best, you know, well, not the best club. He went to the most financially successful club in the entire country, the one with the most access to resources, the one with the most resources, you know what I mean? Like, he went to a big-time club and they had the facilities to go, all right, you're already an athlete. Let's teach you what we need to about the game because you've already got the athletics down pat, you know what I mean? That's not the same as just some regular Joe coming up to the club and go and teach me how to football, you know what I mean? Like, there's nuance there that I feel like a lot of people just skip over in the story, you know? Like, he was already a talented individual. He just needed to show him how to be, you know? Like, that's no gloves, and he's taken that, you know? You can't teach you can teach someone where to put their hands, but you can't, like, that goal, how to contort the football, how to make it twist in the air. You can't, like, there's only certain amounts of things that is because he is at that club, you know what I mean? There are other aspects of his play, most notably the fact that he's like 6'8" or something, you know what I mean? Like, he's a behemoth. But one of the things I like about him is that he's not afraid to do that. You know, he gets in people's faces. He's an emotive football player, you know what I mean? And he jokes around with the press. He's got a Twitter account, you know, he'll have a chat, which is, I mean, it's becoming less and less rare, but in Australia it's a somewhat of a rare commodity because everyone comes up from such a young age being taught all their P's and Q's and just to speak politically, you know what I mean? Not make any trouble. I'll stop talking over the commentators though, sorry guys. And that's what I talked about in the last video, sorry, if you catch it, you just get a free kick. Look at that, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis is the guy in the Demons jersey who is the deep, like, navy blue, dark, not navy blue, that's a different team, they're the Navy Blues, but like a darker shade of blue, and then the red V, right? There's a guy playing for them called Jordan Lewis. He won a whole bunch of flags with Hawthorn, different football club. Then they were like, oh, you're old. And he was like, I don't think I'm that old. And they were like, yeah, no, you're old. And so they cut him from his list, but he went to Melbourne. And now he's old and he's retired and stuff. But he was a really good player. But nonetheless, I'm fairly certain if you read his lips, he just goes, yank, which is like not an insult to somebody. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's from Texas, but nonetheless, not an insult.
The umpire will call play on, goes around now, feels comfortable, goal, he's got three.
Yep, yank. Yep, yank just kicked the goal, champ. Tell your story walking. There he is, taking another grab.
Only 25 metres, but that's the angle.
Slots it through, nice and simple. Perfect drop punt as well, and he has a word to him about it as well. Not bad. Not a Collingwood fan, but I am a fan of Mason Cox. And that's just his size right there. It doesn't matter. They were both in the same position, but he had about a foot on him and a foot more reach, you know? Like, oh, straight over the umpire's hat. Straight down the fucking middle. It's 5 goals. That's not bad in one game. That's one of his best attributes because he can hold his position so well. And he can just get that, command that presence, get his hands on the footy. Yeah, now what he says. Now what, huh? You want to talk now?
Works it down the line.
Talk plenty before I kick it.
And again, gets up.
That's some great on the ground work as well. That's rare for a big man. Rare for a big man to get the ball while it's on the ground and get the handball off as well, you know? He forced the contest there. He was out of position, gathers the ball, gets it to a running player going into the right way. Pendlebury kicks it to an open man, and that's Mason Cox's goal, you know what I mean? That doesn't happen without the Mason Cox play. but it's a small man's play as well, which is tells you more about his ability, you know. And there's his bravery as well, run back into the pack, not knowing what's coming at him, which is a dangerous, a dangerous thing to happen. Running into with the flight of the ball, and he still took the grab and kicked the goal. Pendlebury, number 10 for Collingwood, he's a great player, but. Oh, look at the little... He knew he wasn't going to catch it, but that's finesse as well, you know. Like there's so many facets to Mason Cox's game that he's not just a big body filling space, you know what I mean? Look at him there. He's keeping the ball in. The whole ball has to go over the line for it to be out. Doesn't matter that he's got it, right? So that's another idiosyncrasy of AFL. If you can literally be standing your entire body out with the ball in your hand, and as long as the ball has like a fucking quarter of an inch not fully past the line, the ball is in. The ball itself has to be complete, as if the boundary line was up, and there are particular umpires that run the boundary that determine whether it's out or not, right? So yeah, that's a quirk of the rules, and like some of my favourite goals ever are players that have like run outside and held the ball in and then handballed under someone's legs, and Eddie Betts in particular. I'll show you one of his goals at some point, but yeah, like this is a knowing the rules play. This is a smart play as well as a skillful play, you know what I mean? Like, and he gets around a couple of people, gets his pass off. That's impressive for a natural. And that, you can't teach someone how to jump on someone else to catch it. You either know how to jump on someone or you don't. You know, like, a lot of people are a little bit frigid and stunted in their jump, and so they don't time the leap right. But he's done that a couple of times, and he's not bad. And here he is on the run as well.
Who's on the burst? Inside 50. On the far, Mason Cox. Woodfield overlap running.
Oh, this is against the Giants, my team.
Cox intercepts Delineo. Big Mason back inside 50 to an outnumbered situation. Front and centre, Myercheck. No, it's Hoskin Elliott. Now Myercheck. Outside of the boot. Set up really
not bad for them, but Cox he's become an important player for the Collingwood Magpies. And look, there he is again, just showing his strength, you know, like he's just holding his position, and he knows that if he can hold it and get the ball out here, there's nothing the defender can do, you know, like they're trying to whack him in the head, they're trying to whack his arms, but they can't, because he's got that position and that, the core, I don't know what it's called, but just the core strength to hold it and ride, like that's Trent Cotchin, that's the captain of a football club, you know, like he's a tie for a Brownlow medalist, I'm fairly certain now, you know, like, as well, one of the best players ever, and he just rode him like he was a pony, you know?
I cannot believe it. You've got to go back to Billy Graham with the MCG for an American to dominate like this. Can he guide it through?
That wasn't in football either. I don't know who Billy Graham is, but might have been an Olympian at some point.
Cox again. Oh, he's done it again.
It's Bruce McAvaney slowly falling in love with him across that game. Start of the game, he was a nobody. Fucking, by the end of the third quarter. Righto, you fucking flip-flop. Look at that. Not through me, sir.
From Texas to Oklahoma with a bit of USA bravado there. Probably weren't used to it. We are now, aren't we? We know that it is. Oh, I cannot believe it.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to start believing it, bro.
Cox almost not quite.
Brings it down still, though. Brings it down.
And poking the ball towards the line. Back to Myercheck. Then Myercheck sets it up again. Cox will get this one, and he does. What a moment here. He's had the quietest day imaginable. And he's drilled it home. That's big.
I think that might have been one of the finals last year.
There's plenty of improvement in both sides here. Maynard, long ball, Cox getting back.
That's one of his big abilities, is to just trust his size and know that he's going to get there when he wants to, you know what I mean? I rate him quite highly. A lot of people don't, and this is another video, so this, I don't know if this is... That was his first ever possession, right? So Anzac Day back home. So long story short, Anzac stands for Australian New Zealand Army Corps, right? So Anzac Day is treated with the same sort of commemoration, not celebration, but commemoration and aura as maybe, and not Independence Day, Memorial Day, maybe. It's like, it's the day that we remember, particularly the Anzac Corps in World War, I think it's 1914, yeah, that went to Gallipoli, and because the British were, in short, politically assholes and they didn't mind Australians being cannon fodder, and also they fucked up nautically and sent them to a cliff face that had gun turrets already built into it by the Turkish, as opposed to the beach that they thought they could just calmly, you know, get on and approach from a different angle and stuff. So they were just sent basically to their slaughter. But yeah, this group of people called the Anzacs that persevered and, like, you know, did all their stuff, and the you know, the military rah-rah that all countries have and all that sort of stuff. Anzac Day, it's a thing. Everyone wears a red poppy and remembers the Anzacs. So for a while now, there's been a game of football on that day, which is kind of contentious because some people are like, why are you playing football on a day like this? And other people are like, it's a really good chance for, because it's only one game, for everyone to come together and watch the football after they've gone to the dawn service and commemorated. And it's like, they do a lot for the purposes of Anzac Day. Like, they wear special jerseys, they do fucking, they bring soldiers in, they have like highlights packages and talk a lot and speeches and all that sort of stuff. Like, it is a commemoration still of sorts, but it's also, they're earning a lot of money because it's a game. So it is a hot topic. But Anzac Day, right? 100,000 people go to the game. So 100,000 people in a big fuck off thing. Everyone's been talking about this product, Mason Cox from America, who may or may not make it, may or may not get a game, right? He gets a call up for the game on like the Thursday or Friday night. The game's on the Monday the following week, right? And so big pressure environment. Catches the ball 10 metres out with his first ever hands on the football, and he's having a shot at goal. Here we are.
On the numbers, feeds it back inside. More low trajectory kick. Oh, this could be.
If you have money on him being the first goal kicker that day, everyone thought he was a laughing stock. He's not a laughing stock anymore.
He's a big man, so it's hard to stretch around, but he took the ball quite comfortably. No sign of a fumble. It was a long way.
Yeah, no shit, no sign of a fumble. He's been in their system for a year and a half. They're not going to give him a game if it just on a whim, you know, like.
He's a cowboy, as they all are at that university, but he rides it home. What a beauty! Made the right movement. I mean, he played that really well. Can you believe an American in his first game has just kicked the first goal on Anzac Day?
It didn't happen. That didn't happen.
See, that's the same guy that said later in his career, that didn't happen, to he's the best international product since Jim Steins.
No, played Centauri.
Now short.
Fickle.
Back again to Adams, who drives the ball high. Cox is the target. Oh, the young American. Mason Cox, one of the football stories of the season, kicking for his 8th goal from Oklahoma State University. How about that? Everything is bigger in Texas.
With rhythm and control.
Just the cliche after cliche from the commentators.
Colossus tonight. We probably weren't used to it. We are now, aren't we? We know that
Yeah, we saw that highlight in the last video, but yeah.
That's all you can put it down to.
Might be the only chink in his armour, Richo. Great mark taken by Cox. This final term, Beams was great.
Is Pendlebury again?
Great all night. High ball inside 50 to go. It gets by.
Barreling ball, gets it on the ground. Dodges 2 or 3. Can't find anyone to pass to. Kicks it himself. Nice curve ball around the body from 35 out. If you don't fucking mind.
Sticky hands. Kicked one from outside 50 last week against the Eagles.
There's a perfect smother as well. 1% play. Defensive sort of play, you know what I mean? Like, he's severely underrated, I reckon, anyway. He's got the spin of the ball perfect for that round the corner kick.
Out of the game well, but just set up really well then, Collingwood, very quickly, because that was fast ball a lot of times.
Cox the king. What about that?
Langdon. Here he is again, the big man. He's had a big day.
Slip the touch for him. Is that 4 or 5? I'm just trying to think that whenever you float in a touch,
Should make it 5 goals in a row. Essendon haven't kicked the goal since the 26th-minute mark of the second quarter. And Cox gets his
He's loving it.
and the fans go crazy.
Loving it.
Driving ball on the head of Cox. He comes
It takes balls as well, because he would have known all three of those players were coming in there.
Out the back is Sicily. She's got some speed in a straight line. Sicily. Round closed as well. Forced to disposal.
I mean, that's it. That's a teammate killer. Your teammate gets a free kick and you take the advantage to have the cheap goal. Like, alright. Because they just go, yeah, right, we could have a free kick, but you may as well. Sort of like denying the penalty in NFL. Like he was a pony.
He's staring at him, Bruce.
What are they doing on the drink? Oh, it's all the way over there.
What has Collingwood unleashed here? We're seeing the future of the game, perhaps. It looks different, doesn't it?
It doesn't look that different, mate. We've had plenty of players like that. You guys make more of a... Like, he's good, but he's not the greatest ever to play the game or anything like that, you know? He's definitely the greatest American to ever play the game, but... He's got all the right attributes for it, and he's got a good tenacity in mind. Obviously, he's a smart dude, you know, like... And he has that attitude where it's all water off a duck's back. Well, maybe he had something to prove, and that's why he had to be so good, you know what I mean? But... You know, there's plenty of other tall people in the history of the game that have been just as good as him, you know what I mean? Like, the game isn't looking any different, it's just that... He is from somewhere different, I think. You know, well, not I think, I know he is, but you know what I'm saying. Hit the button. Hit that button. There we go. But yeah, that was Mason Cox. I probably talked too much throughout it, but that's going to be a theme of the AFL videos because I'm trying to teach you guys, give you a bit of commentary, and it's fun to reminisce as well because for those of you that don't know, I grew up in Australia. I was Australian. I'm an American immigrant now, but I was from Australia, or I am from Australia. I don't know, like, it's weird. But you know what I'm saying. You know the message I'm getting across. And yeah, this is going to go into my non-NFL football playlist, so check it out, and that would be awesome. Check out Milkman Grooming. They're an Australian company. They'll be your second favourite thing out of Australia after the Squid, obviously. And maybe they'll overtake me once you use them because they are fucking dope products. So check them out. Links in my description. Use code SQUID. You'll get 15% off. I get a bit of a kickback if you spend any money after you do. So that would be sick. And yeah, that would be ad. I'm going to keep recording. Who knows when I'll edit and upload all of these videos. I've got 2 or 3 more videos to film, so I might break it up over a couple of days, or I might still be uploading at 2 AM. Who knows? You know how I roll. I'll see you guys when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks for watching.